Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Hopefully, you guys out there are having a great day. I know I am. I'm having a very interesting day. I just finished doing 3 hours of making beats and watching my TV shows as I make the beats. Pretty good episodes. I Love Lucy is just so good. I Love Lucy. I watch a little bit of it. I really do believe it's one of the best things ever made. It's so nice. So yeah. In terms of things today to look forward to, I do have to look forward to a lot of cold outreach. I want to be emailing today, so I think I'm going to do some email marketing, pop out in my first email that's not on a Thursday, so I'll try that out. And that's exactly where I'm going to go to after this. So I made beats, I did some sales, which was difficult. Sales was hard today, but because it was hard getting into the rhythm of it, right? It was hard getting into that whole idea of like, all right, can we get ourselves to a place where I can truly be motivated, not just motivated, energetic, where I could have the energy that is required for me to transfer that same energy to you, and for you to make a decision that I think is not correct because I want your money. It's correct because I made it so that it'll be correct. It's correct for a million other reasons. You know what I mean? Because the product is actually good. So yeah, it's nice memorizing the scripts, though. I will say that. It is nice memorizing the scripts. There's something about memorizing those scripts. It reminds me of the old days when I was an actor. I used to be an actor back in the day when I was like 8 years old, and it reminds me a lot of that because it's like memorizing scripts. I used to have to memorize so much for some of these roles, and now looking back on that, I mean, it's unbelievable. Some of the things I did, I was watching some of those recordings, the things I did at 12 or 13 years old, and I'm like, dude, you have no idea. Rogan talks about this a lot, and I do love this. It's that how young a teenager actually is. If you talk to a 17-year-old, I mean, they're just practicing speaking. A decade ago, they were 7. The weirdest one for me is 14. A decade ago, you were 4. It's like, whoa, that's weird, because I feel like we think of 14-year-olds as something that's big. And then I'm like, wait, a decade ago, you were 4. That's a mind-blowing experience, because I think that's the furthest away from each other. Because at 14, I felt like an adult. Like, I felt like I was an adult. And at 4, I can't remember anything. So I'm like, from 4 to 14, that was 10 years. Weird. Because now, not to say a decade feels normal now, but I think over the course of the next few years, like when I was 9 years old, I can't really remember my thought process or anything like that. When I was 10, like when I turned 20, I will remember that. When I turned 21, I remember when I was 11 years old. So I'll remember a decade prior. I'll have this remembrance of I'll have gratitude, I think, for having the opportunity to obviously be alive this long. That's first of all, even though I'm not alive that long, still, relatively for America, still, or hopefully as I will be, it's like still, thank God for that. But to have at least 2 or 3 years of like, you think you're an adult, but you don't even know what 10 years feels like. That was me. I didn't know what 10 years felt like. Now I'm starting to grasp it a little more, what that means, 10 years. What exactly that means, because not to say it's relative. Time, I think, is really relative. It really does. People do age differently. People do, experience time differently. But how I experienced time when I was 10, 11 years old, or 9 years, would just be like, a month would feel like a year. You know what I mean? Now years feel like they fly by. But a month a full-on month would feel like a year. So yeah, now looking back on it, I'm like, all right, these next couple of years are going to be so weird, because they're going to be me entering into remembering when I was a decade ago, remembering my thought process, who I was, let alone 10 years from now. In 10 years from now, I'll be an old man. Like we're doing, I don't mean to be that guy, but it's true. 10 years from now, I'm going to be 29. That's not an old man. It's still, relatively young, but it's 29 years old. It's like you're not a teenager anymore. You haven't been for like almost 10 years. So when I see 29-year-olds now, it's the first thing I think. I really do believe that. Someone tells me their age and they're 29 and the things that they've accomplished. If I'm looking at that with somebody, first thing I think is, yeah, you've been an adult for around almost 10 years. You've been past teenage phase. You've been at least past the number of a teenager. So how'd you experience time, right? And if you did mess it up, in your 20s, it's fine, right? You can fix that up. I don't know. I'm only this young. I have no idea, but hopefully, I have a feeling there's hope. And there's a chance you can. There's a real chance you could just fix that right up. The decade you ruined it, just do another decade of killing it. And by the time you're 40, you'll have everything you want. I don't know. I'm honestly speaking, I'm saying this as like my idea. Like I said, I don't literally know. I've never experienced it myself, and it's hard for me to even understand, obviously, not having experienced all that time. But all right, I'm going to go move on right now. I'm going to go straight to cold outreach, do 3 hours of that. Then I'll see you guys in the middle-ish of the day. All right, let's do it. So I finished everything pretty much that's hard for the day. I only have about 2 hours left before I'm done for the day and I can go work out and do my other stuff. And yeah, I feel good. There are a couple of things that I don't think I got that I went over. First of all, I'm a 19-year-old businessman, entrepreneur who started an e-commerce business selling beats to rappers. I might have said this in the last clip, but just in case I didn't, it's basically who I am. And also another thing is, it's week 6 is over. Today's the start of week 7 of 2024. I say week 7 like as if it's something that's for me. It's like it's my week 7 of my journey, but it's also week 7 of 2024. So it's everybody's week 7. I hope you guys have stayed consistent. I hope you guys have stayed doing what you're doing. At week 7 now, honestly, feels pretty good. We have about 2 more weeks before I get really impressed with myself, and I'm like, damn, I really pulled this off like crazy. Because in February will be almost over. So that's wild. But yeah, February so far has been pretty good. It hasn't been that bad. It's been pretty good. A lot of dopamine, you know what I mean? A lot of dopamine days, which I thought were going to be better. I thought it was going to be more fun. And now it's just becoming so useless for me. It really has. It's become so useless for me. I thought like any type of dopamine, anything besides this would be nice. And it's like, no, not anything. Only a couple things. So I'm kind of just growing out of things and making new decisions. You guys get how that is. Yeah, in terms of today, energy-wise, I'm feeling kind of tired because I'm like, yesterday was tough. And I'm also feeling super energetic. I don't feel at all like I'm just like drained. Obviously, the beginning of the day, I usually do. Like first hour, 2 hours, I usually feel like a nice little wave come over me. I'm like, whoa, I'm a little tired and drained. Like I have to do this. And then around this time, I start to get fired up. You know what I mean? Around the 2 hour mark, and sales gets me fired up. By the time sales was hitting, I couldn't really feel it. I didn't really have it in my bones, like that feeling. And I watched this guy he's becoming really famous now, called Andy Elliott. Great sales training guy, high energy, has made a lot of money. And he was talking a lot about being, being someone that's in this industry of sales, how to make the customer feel comfortable. And that's your goal, to make them feel comfortable, not only just to sell them. It's different. It's a different feeling. And then he gives me that feeling through the screen. He gives me that feeling, and I get jacked up and ready to go over some of my scripts. And the scripts have been awesome. The scripts have been great. I'm taking some of the scripts from Alex Hormozi's, one of his videos, and he talks about sales. And he had some great scripts in there. I was like, nice. So I wrote down, I just hustled. I wrote down everything I could. And so I'm memorizing those. Hopefully, getting good. Just obviously one small step at a time. Just one little. And yeah, not the whole idea of taking it day by day is interesting. Because I used to think you take it day by day. That's okay. That's cool. You take it day by day. You did it. You took it day by day. Congrats. But what does that mean? Like practically, the idea of micro and macro, where it's like, do you have any long-term goals, or are you just taking this day by day? Like, what does that even mean? If you mean taking it day by day, where it's what I'm doing now, right? Literally every day, doing something significant, coming out the YouTube video, right? Trying to make moves every single day. That's a different story than doing something long-term. Doing something that's not long-term. You're taking it day by day. So if I party today, tomorrow I'll be, it's like, what exactly are we talking about? And in terms of long-term, all these decisions are very long-term. Very long-term. The YouTube, these are all long-term decisions. What I'm doing with you guys, the podcast, for sure is a long-term. Even the messages I'm sending, the sales training, all of it is very long-term. I'm not really getting upset from the day-to-day, even though sometimes I do. Sometimes I really get upset with myself, and I really, I just go head to the wall. I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. This sucks. In that case, I mean, we do it anyway. There's really no way of dealing with it besides just working. And that's it. I mean, maybe you cut your hours a little bit. Maybe you add things that are more attractive to your day, like watching a movie while you work or something like that. Let yourself have a little bit of, not a little bit of fun or a little bit of dopamine. It's rather make it a habit, something that you want to come back to. And, obviously this is advice. I usually don't like giving advice, but this is what worked for me, really. When I made it a habit, and I was like, well, I do want to watch this show today. Okay, cool. I made it easy because at the end of the day, when I wake up, no one's up. So what else am I going to do? If I'm going to watch a movie either way, I might as well watch a movie and work. See what I mean? There's a little bit of logic to it. And so I'm going to move on right now. I'm going to go straight to into editing videos, filming videos, and I'll see you guys all the way at the end of the day. All right, let's do it. I officially finished everything I have to do for the rest of the day. Yes. It feels good. It does feel good, I'll tell you that. I'm glad I made it through today. Today was not that hard to make it through in general, but it did wear me down a little bit. I just did a podcast, and I was like, my energy was way down. And I was like, yeah. I woke up. I got 7 hours of sleep. That's why, 7 hours. Not to say it just hinders performance for me a little tiny bit. It's not a lot, but that little tiny bit of hindering performance, it gets me. I need those 8 hours. You know what I mean? I'm like, I need those 8, 9 hours. Oof. Like yesterday, 9 hours sleep, I was in it, But yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that we're already on week 7. Today's revolutionary because I sent out an email. Like, this is actually huge. This is the first time I sent out an email that wasn't on a Thursday. For me, that's huge. I'm sending them around every 3 days. And you know what I found out? I actually found out I have 122 people on my welcome series on my email marketing. 122 people. Weird. And I guess what qualifies a welcome series? I don't know. Do they just... I thought that was like after you bought, right? I don't know. But 122 people. I have to look into it a little bit more. But... yeah, I'm like, I really do. I don't know about all this. In other news, I need to pick a movie. I think I'm going to pick a movie today, which is nice. That'll be real good because I'm always deciding what movie I just throw on YouTube, and it annoys me. I'm like, there's really nothing. And this time I threw on House. I was like, screw it. I'll watch House. I do Cold Outreach. It just didn't feel right. You know what I mean? Just didn't feel right. Like, I got to watch House when I produce, not when something about it I didn't like. I think I have a new custom beat tomorrow. I think someone sent me a link to a song that I'm going to make, I'm waiting on a couple people to do it. But I actually got a lot of emails today because I looked up, some people just don't answer me, which is just like, fuck, what the fuck, right? It's like, answer me. I made you a custom beat. What's your email? And they don't answer. And they'll leave me on scene. I'm like, but I made you the beat for you. So then I find their emails and then I email them. Just so now that I have the email, I'll email market them, add them to my list. But it really is annoying. It's like, what is this? You know what I mean? It's like, are you kidding me? What's happening? It's like, it's very annoying. But at least for me, I'm like, it gets me really pissed off. I'm like, what are we doing here? You asked for a custom beat, I made it for you, and there you go. Anyway, but thank God I got more emails. Even just today, I was looking, I have 12 more emails than I did last week on Thursday. So hopefully from the next 2 days, or rather 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, really just Tuesday and Wednesday, I get a lot of emails. I bust ass with that. If I bust ass with that, I mean, yeah, I could probably get up to like 15 emails, which would be nice. That'd be tight. 15 emails would be nice. I'd enjoy myself at 15. Because last week I got like 10. I already passed last week. I already passed that. But yeah, and so I don't know what week 7 has in store for me, honestly. I only have 150 weeks left, which is nice. I have 150 weeks left. It's crazy. 150 weeks. That's nuts. Before 3 years. That's it. I was 156. Now that I'm done with week 6, it's 150. It is. It's not a crazy feat, but it's like, a little victory. You know what I mean? Like a little nod to myself. Like, good job, bud. That was good. Yeah, that's kind of how it feels. And it feels nice to have. It feels nice to be proud, man. It feels nice to be proud of myself to say, hey, you're doing this. You're actually doing this. I mean, you're not joking around. You're actually sitting down and getting into the nitty gritty, actually starting it. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. For me and my habits, I mean, I really never thought it would get this far. Right? I'm like, to the point where if I feel so comfortable, it doesn't even feel like I'm crossing off days anymore. It feels like I'm crossing off weeks. Weeks are just flying. Around week 8, though, that's when I think I'm gonna flip out. So I have around 2 weeks before I start flipping out. Like, whoa, once I'm done with February, 2 months will be a big difference. And then obviously like the 90-day mark. Once I pass the 100 day, like that to me is when I'm like, okay, I'm getting into the 1 of 1 situation. I feel like no one does it for more than 100 days. It's always like, I didn't make money in 100 days, so I quit. It's like, you quit? What does that even mean, you quit? Are you going to kill yourself? Time's still running. You still have time where you can do it. It's like, well, how do you want to spend your time? Do you want to spend your time ignoring the greatness, ignoring the person you could become that you'll actually enjoy, that you'll be proud of? That's what you want to ignore. You want to ignore just because there's pain involved. Deep pain, not physical pain, deep pain. Right? It sucks. It sucks because I was really in that boat for a while. I will say that. I understand that. I understand it so well because I was there. Maybe you guys haven't really experienced that, but that's something that really hindered me and stopped me for a while from taking action. All right. Well, on that note, I'm going to end the YouTube video here, and hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I know I will. And see you guys next time. Peace.